All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are breaking down Rams rookie guard Steve Avila and his performance against the Seattle Seahawks. Avila was kind of an unsung hero for the Los Angeles Rams in their big come from behind victory over Seattle. And we've got a great set of cut-ups to highlight just that. As always, if you appreciate this content, give us a like, give us a comment with any feedback you might have. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with a gap running scheme the Rams are running here. And this is a really cool design. So you can see the man in motion right there. The whole point of him coming in motion across here is to take the safety from the Seattle Seahawks and force them outside the picture of the running game. So getting rid of that, it comes from a really clear design. You're going to get your left tackle blocking out here. You're going to get a double team action on this defensive tackle working up to the linebacker, Bobby Wagner. And then you're just going to get man-on-man across the board everywhere else. And it's a really good design because the running back, you can see the natural hole is to kind of go this way. But because the motion is coming across and it's going to take this safety, there's a big potential cutback right up here, the seam. But that puts a lot of pressure on the double team right here. Avila, and that camera's right in the way, but you can see him right there at left guard, right here on this defensive tackle. This needs to be a big time block. Let's check out how Avila does. All right, you can see the motion pulling number 20 already out of the picture. You can see right there, he's gone. Right, you can see the double team start right here. And you can see the center. He immediately sees Bobby Wagner fill. He actually sees other color come across his face, that defensive tackle. So the Seattle Seahawks have actually a really good design here to stop this play. They're taking this 3 technique, working him inside to be the A-gap defender, and they're taking their linebacker, Bobby Wagner, and having him fire in the B-gap. It's a chance to blow this play up, but the center does a really nice job coming across and at least getting a body on what eventually ends up being the A-gap defender, which would be the linebacker in this case. But that, again, puts all the pressure on Avila. It eventually becomes a one-on-one block because when you have this setup right here, the running back has to cut back to the left. He has no choice. There's too much color in his face on the play side right there. So, again, pressure on Avila. Watch what he does here. Gets on him, keeps his feet moving, keeps driving. Look at that movement, folks, and look at that hole. Oh, my goodness gracious, that's great stuff. Again, because right there, contact is good. He's a winning position right here. But this is what separates Avila from a lot of other young offensive linemen and, frankly, veteran offensive linemen. His athleticism, his 1-2, his competitiveness. Look how he keeps driving his feet, keeps getting movement up the field, blows them completely out of the hole. Look at this, folks. This is a hole you don't see in the NFL very much. And credit to Sean McVay. This is a great design, taking the motion to get the backside safety out of the picture. But I tell you what, it's not that big of a hole unless Avila does a great job, and this is exactly what he does here. And now, look, I know a lot of people are going to look at this film that are very technical about offensive line play, and they're going to say, his base isn't that great, he's too high, yada, yada, yada. I really don't care if you get movement like this basically by yourself at the point of attack. That's elite level stuff from Avila, and I tell you what, folks, he had a big role in the Rams' massive comeback against the Seahawks.
Yeah, Nick, this guy reminds me a lot of someone like Orlando Brown Jr. coming out of college. He just didn't fit the mold. He didn't look right size wise. He didn't necessarily win things clean in college. But the matter of fact is, he won and he kept winning on blocks all the time. Like you said, people pick apart Avila's technique. But if you win the block, that's all that really matters. Doesn't matter how you win it. I don't care if he somehow stood on his hands and blocked him with his feet. As long as it worked, that's all that really matters. So, I mean, this is a win for Avila, and this is what this guy's been doing all season long. Just beating the odds, winning, getting on blocks, and just driving people out of dodge. So you back a semi-truck through that hole is so big. This is a great job by Avila. I really think that he's growing into a star for this Rams team.
All right, sticking with the run game, there is Avila, of course, right there at his left guard position. And the Rams here are running a play that every team runs in the NFL these days. It's a design cutback. Oh, they put a nice little flavor on it. Again, it's the Rams, so you're always going to have the man in motion across the formation, which makes a lot of sense because it's going to be a design cutback this direction. This motion man helps flow the defense away from where the design cutback is going to go. So again, great design by McVay. Let's focus on the job up front. So you're basically going to get everybody on the offensive line working right here, treating it like it's zone, trying to get everybody flowing this way and create a cutback opportunity for the running back. And you're going to get the tight end right here, wide receiver 81. He's going to come after the snap and kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage. You can see the kind of seal forming, right? There's going to be a seal here with the offensive lineman. There's going to be a block right here with this seal right here. Running back's going to take a step that way and cut right back here in this direction. But the Seahawks actually have a really great defensive strategy to theoretically stop it. They're actually going to slant everybody to the field in this case, right? They're going to get all their defensive linemen running in that direction at the snap. This is a chance to really blow this play up. The one way you can beat that slant is if you get movement, horizontal movement up front. And that falls on Avila right here. He's going to have this guy cross his face. In this situation right here, you're taught that the way you win this rep is you take that block and you drive them inside. The goal here is to create a big displacement with this defensive tackle. So that way, even though this guy slants right here, if this defensive tackle is way over here, there's still going to be a lot of space for the running back to cut into. Watch how Avila wins this rep for the Los Angeles Rams. There's the motion again. Again, you can see the tight end working across to the left. He's going to kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage. You can see the Seattle Seahawks defensive players sprinting to the offense's right in this case. Now watch Avila again right here. Watch what he does. He sees that guy come into him. Watch him take his left arm, Avila's left arm, and drive his feet horizontally to get crazy movement. Look at this, folks. Shoves him down the line of scrimmage. Again, focus on his left arm. This is textbook technique. Right at the end of this, you can see it. You see how his left arm is driving underneath the defender's shoulder pad. That's what they teach you to do. They teach you to take your outside arm, get it underneath the defender's shoulder when he's slanting across your face, and slingshot him down the line of scrimmage. I mean, look at where this defender ends up, right? This guy originally was a 3 technique slanting inside. Look where he finishes up by the time Avila's done with him. He's outside the other defensive tackle. That is big time displacement. And that creates a massive cutback opportunity for the running game. Because again, they have this defensive end crashing inside. He beats Higbee across his face. Not ideal by Higbee. You get the kick out block right here. Normally this would be a blow up for a big loss, but because there is so much movement, the running back can cut behind. He escapes a defensive tackle in the backfield and get a pretty nice run out of it. I tell you what, Rams fans, this is a big block because the Seattle Seahawks, when they drew up this defensive play in this situation against this alignment for the Rams, this is something you tell in your defensive meeting room, this is going to be a 5-yard loss, maybe even a fumble, right? This is going to be a disaster for the offense. But because Avila wins this rep and wins it so decisively with perfect technique, it actually is a win for the Rams defense and Rams offense, in a dire situation based on the defensive alignment. Again, these are the plays that don't show up on the highlight reel. No one's talking about it Monday morning at the water cooler. But this technically sound football, this great technique, savvy play from the rookie right there, this wins you football games. And plays like this are exactly why the Rams came up with a big division victory over the Seattle Seahawks. All right, let's switch it up to pass protection. Here we're in a long yardage situation for the Rams. This is after a penalty. So instead of being, say, 1st and goal inside the 10, they're way back around the 15. And the Rams are going to slide their protection to the offense's right here. And you can see why, right? You got defensive tackle right there. You got a linebacker walked up like he might blitz and a defensive end right there. So it makes sense to slide the protection to that. Now, what that means, it means you've got isolated guys one-on-one in this situation, left tackle and defensive end, and of course, Avila inside on this defensive tackle. This is a tough situation because this defensive tackle right here lined up in what's basically a wide 3 technique. He is essentially what I call a 3-way go. He can threaten you to the outside, right, with a speed rush. He can work inside into the A gap right there, or he can go through you with a bull rush. This is a tough situation for a guard, and this is a big-time situation in the game. Of course, we're talking red zone. That's watch what Avila does. This is, again, winning football from the rookie guard. Or you can see the offensive line sliding to the right, just in case 56 blitzes. And again, you see Avila one-on-one. You can see right away the defensive tackle goes with the inside move. That's the right move to make. I think it's the best move to do in this situation. But watch how Avila handles this. Drives him inside perfectly, squashes him in. Stafford steps up, delivers a strike. Awesome stuff. Again, this play doesn't happen without Avila because, again, look how far Avila drives him inside. Gives this beautiful lane up here for Stafford to comfortably step up into the pocket and deliver a laser to get them back near the 5-yard line. Again, these are the plays you miss, right? If this defensive tackle beats Avila inside, Stafford has no chance, takes a sack, throws it away, basically becomes a lost drive at this point. Instead, they get a good completion and a real chance to score a touchdown once again in a goal-to-go situation. Phenomenal stuff. Again, one-on-one. This is a situation where the Seattle Seahawks defense draws this up to create this one-on-one matchup, thinking they could beat it against Avila, but Avila steps up to the challenge. And technically, folks, his usage of hands and pass protection is outstanding. Watch how he immediately shocks a defender in the chest right there. Great job. And then immediately replaces his hands with another punch right there and then drives him inside with good feet. Keeps his feet moving at all times. He's always moving his feet. That's what I love about Avila. I'll tell you what, folks, this is winning football. Keeps his feet moving, keeps his feet chopping, keeps driving, keeps fighting. That's awesome stuff up front. Look, I don't care about foot placement. I don't care about foot speed. If you're moving your feet with aggressiveness and assertiveness, you can win at the offensive line at any level, especially the NFL. And Avila is doing it just that right here. And he gives the Rams offense a big boost.
Yeah, Nick, and this was the best duo that the Seattle defense had to offer as far as that left hand side of the line, our left hand side. That's Leonard Williams and Boye Mafe on this side. That's a speed rusher and a guy in his ninth year in the NFL, and Leonard Williams, who's an extremely solid player, very good guy up front. And you got Mafe, the speedster, on the edge. They threw everything they could at this left side of the Rams offensive line, and they took it and they could handle it like pros. This looks really great by Avila, just handling the best that Seattle had to offer. Crucial play in the red zone. They threw everything at them, absolutely just tried to give them more than they could handle. Not the case, and that's what you love to see from a young rookie.
All right, switching it up, going the other way now. There is Avila at the left guard right there on the right side of your screen. Again, this is a really fun design by Sean McVay and this Rams offense. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to bring this man in motion across here like he's running a speed sweep or that kind of motion. He's going to stop and reverse out this way right here like he could potentially running a speed sweep. Stafford is actually faking to him. It's going to be a toss on the outside. And what the Rams do to block it up front, it's pretty cool. So they do a kind of old school crackback block, not an illegal block, just basically sealing the end man on the line of scrimmage with the slot wide receiver right there. They're going to pull the left tackle out around in space. They're going to try and get the defensive lineman cut off right here. But this forces a big block right here on Avila on number 21. That's a defensive back for the Seattle Seahawks right there. And this is a case where Avila, look, you can see the difference right there. That's about 3 yards to Avila's left right there outside of him. He's a much better athlete. You're supposed to get on him if you're Avila in this situation. Get on that defender, slow him up. Don't hold him. Give yourself a chance to get outside. You're not expected to completely reach him. You're not expected to pancake him. It's a tough situation, but it's a really hard thing to judge. You have to get on him, hold him down, maintain him, but you can't grab cloth or get called for holding. Let's check out how Avila does here. Again, another example of winning football. All right, you can see the motion. He circles back. You can see the pitch coming outside. You can see the wide receiver doing the crackback block to seal the in man on the scrimmage. You can see the left tackle pulling around. You can see Avila coming up to number 21 right there. And again, it's going to be a big time block right here. This is a tough angle to take. First of all, one thing I don't like about this, right? And maybe he's trying to sell the inside run. That's the only thing I don't know. But see how he gets vertical right out the get-go? I'd rather you get a little flatter and go right off the heels of that in-man on the line of scrimmage. Going vertical makes it tougher for you to get up to number 21. But regardless of that potential misstep, and again, I don't know what he's taught. I'm just assuming he's taught to go flat and he just went vertical by his own decision there. But he recovers quickly, gets on 21. Again, is getting help from the wide receiver. But watch what Avila does. He gets on him, holds him up. Right here, doesn't hold, lets him go. Perfect stuff, folks, because we see this every Sunday, every single game. You get an offensive lineman in this situation or a tight end or receiver, whoever, right at the point of attack. They grab cloth, they yank, they hold on too long, and it's an easy 10-yard penalty and a great run gets called back. Avila doesn't do that. He lets go. Perfect job, folks. This is awesome. Again, savvy play from a rookie because right here, he's done his job. He's held up number 21 just a little bit. He's given his running back a chance, but right at the last second, he doesn't hold. He just lets him go, even gives him a little bit of a shove to make sure the ref knows he's not holding him. Outstanding savvy play here from Avila. This is great football up front. Because if you look at this schematically from the defense, and this is the key for today's film review, is the Seahawks are in a good position because right here they're thinking, okay, 21, there's no chance that Avila holds them up from getting outside in this situation because of his athleticism and by alignment, of course. But Avila's able to do it, and he's able to do it without holding. Big run for the Rams. And I tell you what, folks, Avila's versatility and savvy play here has a big factor for this Rams offense going forward.
Yeah, Nick, and this is the young all-world speedster corner Devon Witherspoon he's going against. This is a true talent for Avila to get put up against. And like you said, he doesn't hold. No negative plays. That's been the key. And that's been the theme with Avila all season. 2 penalties all season long. We're in like week 11 now. He's only had 2 penalties to this point in the season. So that's really tough for Avila to get on this really good corner in Witherspoon. Very fast guy who could probably disengage really quickly. Keeps his feet chopping aggressive, like you said, drives him down the field, disengages when he needs to, gives him a little shove. The run's already past him, doesn't matter anymore, doesn't hold. No negative plays. I really like that.
All right, so we've shown Avila in the running game. We've shown him in the pass game as well, but here's another element to him. It's in the screen game, his athleticism and his ability to get in space and make plays. And this is a great example of it. So once again, it's the Rams, right? They bring men in motion across the field. This is going to be a play action up front. Everyone's selling play action inside right here. The running back's going to sell it and then leak out into the flat. The key block right here is going to be on Avila. He's got to sell the gap right here like it's run and then work out in the flat. It's going to be one-on-one on this linebacker in space. This is an incredibly difficult block to do. Watch how Avila handles this. This is a great play by Avila and a great job by the Rams offense. You can see the motion once again. There's the play action, and they're releasing out to the screen. You can see the left tackle staying in. And again, so watch Avila here, right? He releases. He's got the angle. He knows who he's got to get right there. One-on-one. This is a tough situation, folks, because right here, if you're Avila, you've got to immediately close the gap here, but this is a great athlete, so he's going to jump inside. He's going to jump around you. He's going to do all kinds of crazy things. Once again, you cannot hold. You have to get on him. You have to square him up. And because it's a slower developing screen, because there was a play action to it, you can't just like throw and cut block. Because sometimes if it's a quick screen, you can kind of lunge and be aggressive. Because if the defender jumps out of the way to avoid the block, because it's a quick screen, the running back or whoever's getting the screen will be able to react to it quickly. But because this was a slower developing screen due to the play action, you've got to square up and you've got to get on him and you've got to give your running back a chance. That's exactly what Avila does. Watch him get square right here in this situation, gets his hands on him. Again, doesn't hold, lets him go. Again, is it the most impressive block in the world? No. Is he pancaking him or anything like that? Absolutely not. But he's one-on-one against a far better athlete on paper anyway, in space, and gets the job done. Great work and a great screen game here once again for the Rams. This is where it's so tough to play defense. If you get an offensive lineman who can do everything Avila does, right? He can win in the running game at the point of attack. He can win on double teams. He can win in pass protection. If he can get out in space and make blocks like this too, you have no chance if you're a defense, because your whole theory for the Seattle Seahawks is like, well, they may be better than us inside, but I tell you what, in space, we're going to win. But if you got Avila like this, I tell you what, folks, that's in space not winning right there. That's a great block. And here's a good example of it too, what I'm talking about in terms of other blocks. Look at the center right here. Actually, it's a backside guard that's Dotson. Watch him get downfield on Bobby Wagner, right? He kind of misses inside right there. He does a great job recovering, get a little piece of him there. But imagine if Avila had this block right here against number 56 and just whiffed, right? If he whiffs right there and 56 comes inside the way Dotson did on Bobby Wagner, that's a tackle for what? A no gain, a yard or two. Instead, Avila squares him up, stays on him, again, doesn't hold, and it becomes a really nice play for the Rams offense. Again, Avila brings so many different things to this Rams offense. We see him get better week to week. And I tell you what, folks, this player right here, this young left guard, he does definitely look like a future star in the making for this Rams team. All right, we're going to finish up with another run play. There's Avila right there on the left side of your screen at left guard. And this is just going to be a gap running scheme with a lot of double teams here from the Los Angeles Rams. A really cool design. So basically, they're going to get double teams up here up front, working up to the linebacker right there. They're going to get double teams here, working up to the backside linebacker right there. They're going to get the right tackle kicking out. They're going to get the tight end kicking out. They're bringing, I believe that's Nakua in motion, the wide receiver. He's going to check to make sure the edge is secure. Then he's going to insert for the safety. So the natural hole, if you're the running back, you can see is probably in this green grass right here, because you're going to get Nakua's going to lead here. You're going to get the tight end kicking out here. So there's the seal here. And then you get double team action inside, working up to linebacker. So again, you can see the natural seal for the running back to bounce and run through. It makes a lot of sense here. But again, it all falls on this double team. And this rep from Avila is far from his prettiest rep. Actually, I think it's one of his uglier reps in the game. But I tell you what, despite it not being his most technically perfect rep, he shows his fight, he shows his toughness, and it ends up being a really great block and a big-time run for the Rams offense late in the game when they needed it most. Let's check out how it goes. All right, there's the motion. Again, you can see the kick out block from Higbee right there. You can see Nakua. He's going to insert for the safety. You can see the double team forming right there. You can see on the backside of the play right here, this was going to be a double team, but again, great job by Dotson. Again, the veteran that got from the Steelers. He reads the Bobby Wagner blitz, comes off early to pick up Wagner. Everyone else on the backside is just cutting off, so in a strong position there. You can see the hole opening up right there. But again, watch what happens right here. Left tackle, number 77, Alaric Jackson, I believe, delivers a great shot on the defensive tackle. But because of that great shot and because of that defensive tackle throwing right here, Avila loses track a little bit. So right there, he loses him. He's kind of all over the place. That doesn't look ideal. But here's what I love about this. He gets in a bad situation. Watch him keep fighting. Watch him keep moving his feet. Keep fighting. Keep driving. Keep driving. He ends up getting 5+ yards of movement on that double team, 3.5, 4 yards of movement on the double team. They end up getting bodies on bodies, and it ends up being a powerful run, 6, 7 yards down the field late in the game when they need it most. Folks, when you have a play up front in a double team, and technically it's this ugly, I mean, that's not a good position to be. You want to be hip to hip if you're Avila. You don't want to be sideways like that. That's far from ideal. But despite that, he fights back to it. Watch what he does with his feet. See how he squares himself up there? Folks, that's phenomenal. Look right there. Here, let me back up a little bit more. So right here, once he gets thrown off, see how he's right there. He's perpendicular. His feet are to the line of scrimmage. Watch how he immediately scores his feet and recalibrates himself to get right back in the perfect position for double team. Right there, immediately goes hip to hip. Awesome stuff from there, Avila. The ability to recover from a bad situation. Again, hands not in a great place. Obviously, he's high. There's a lot of things technically to not like, but this gives you a chance on the double team. 5 yards of movement, bodies on bodies, late in the game, fourth quarter, game-winning drive. This is winning football from Avila. Again, far from pretty, probably ends up grading a minus in the coach's room, may end up being a minus in PFF, grades like that. But in terms of executing and just finding a way to win, this is a phenomenal example of it right here.
Yeah, Nick, this is something that's been key all season long. This is something that was a knock on Avila coming out of college, and it's really nice to see he's improved on it. He switched from center to guard in college his last year. They say that that might be the reason. He really didn't have the best angles. He didn't have really a great angle of attack as far as the run blocking game. Something that they really were worried about him coming into the NFL if it would translate. It seems here that Avila has been just fine. Not pretty, not perfect, like you said, but he's effective in the running game. And I think that's all that matters. Doesn't show up on the stat sheets. PFF scores don't show that he's the best run blocker in the world because his technique, maybe not the best. But if you look at the tape, if you look at the film, he's at the point of attack. They're winning. They're driving guys back off the ball. And like we said, that's all that matters. So Avila, I think he can clean up the technique. I think he can clean up the footwork. That's easy. But it's not easy just to be winning on your block. So I think this is really great for Avila. And I think this just shows he's going to grow and get even better with age and technique.